And welcome back to Reactioncast. It's your host Jesus, aka Tyrant Dominus, and welcome back to another movie review. This time around, we're going to be talking about the second Doctor Strange film, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And so, Doctor Strange, this is interesting. This is officially the second Doctor Strange film, but it is not the second time we've seen Doctor Strange. We've seen him in the Avengers films. We've seen him in Spider-Man. So he's been around. He's had some storylines being told through those films, but this is the first time the second time we're getting a little bit more of a focus on just Stephen Strange and kind of expanding a little bit more. So to kind of just do a quick synapse, Dr. Stephen Strange casts a forbidden spell which opens the doorway to the multiverse, including alternate versions of himself who threat to humanity is too great for the combined force of Strange, Wong, and Wanda Maximoff. Well, that's a weird that's the IMDb synapse, so that's not a great synapse, I'll be honest. So yeah, so this is one of the first few films now in Phase 4. This is officially the 28th film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A few things to talk about beforehand. There are 2 mid and end credits, so make sure you kind of stay for those. Because that's always one of the few things that I always think about, like how many end credits or mid credits are there. There are 2, so I'll let you know that. And also I'm going to let you know there's going to be no spoilers on this one. I'm just going to be talking about the film a little bit. And kind of I'm going to see who I can get to do an extended talk, because this film has a lot, and it's a good thing and sometimes a slightly a little bad thing. But yeah, so this film was directed by Sam Raimi, a very good director. Like for the most part, most of them know him for Spider-Man trilogy films, the Evil Dead franchise. So to see him do Doctor Strange 2, you can kind of see a lot of his style for sure. This like horror-esque, like darker. And it does play well. Once again, we get the return of Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, playing himself and other versions of himself, and it's very interesting because recently we watched another multiversal movie, Everything Everywhere and Everyone Else. It's one of those things when you're we just talked about Moon Knight. It's one of those things when characters are kind of doing alternate versions of themselves. You kind of have to see how they play off that, and I felt this one worked. We get Benedict Wong back as Wong. We get Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff / the Scarlet Witch, and we get a new character of, what is her name? Xochitl Gomez? I can't pronounce her name. My bad. She has a very unique name. Officially, this is the first time I've seen her, but she's been in a few other shows. But she plays America Chavez, and this is one of the few new characters, a very powerful character, a character that is able to traverse the multiverse, and so yeah, that's kind of the base plot of the film. Is there's something's coming after America Chavez, and it is the job of Stephen Strange, Wong, and Wanda to kind of find out what it is and protect her from it. And you know what? The film is truly action-packed, non-stop, on and on and on, and it's so fantastic. So many fun surprises, and there's a few things floating around of how some trailers kind of spoiled some things here and there. You know what? It's not that it spoiled it. It's more that it was elevating some of the more surprises that are in it. And for me, I don't know, because I've only saw the first and the first 2 trailers. There's some other television trailers that pop up that have a few more scenes. But in my opinion, if you only watch the first, or maybe even just the first and second like I did, you'll be pretty fine of what you were expecting. You'll be more surprised if you didn't watch any trailers, to be honest, but it's one of those things like you kind of have to get audience in the seats. And yeah, some of the surprises were fantastic, like great. So many fun action sequences. Because this film is like, it's a Doctor Strange film, you see a lot of CGI fight scenes, so you kind of it didn't really bother me at times. I think there was only very few times that CG got me. Besides that, there's so many great fights because you're just fighting with magic. It's not a super spoiler, but there's this wonderful musical fight scene, and when you hear that, like, what musical fight scene? Once you watch the film, and like, if you haven't seen the film yet, and when you get to this point, it's gonna blow your mind. It is so cool. But the thing is, what I felt was very awkward about the film, and what I was contemplating as I was watching the movie, it's one of those things that when originally I was thinking of how they're gonna handle some of these things, as far as like the television shows and the movies, and how to kind of separate them here and there. Because when I originally saw, or I noted, I might be misquoting, but I remember Kevin Feige saying that the television shows for the most part are just a small extension and just some added adages for audiences to just get some more context. And I think for Multiverse of Madness, for sure, if you ended up watching WandaVision and Loki, for sure WandaVision, you would get a more concrete like idea what the heck was happening in Multiverse of Madness. Like I watched it, reviewed it, and I had a full context. But if I have a feeling if you didn't, then you'd be confused on why a character like Wanda, for the most part, was so batshit crazy in a sense. And yeah, because the way I see it, the way the film is laid out, like I said, it's so much action, constant, one by one, just like almost never letting you breathe. There's very few times where you can just kind of sit and breathe, because just so much happening. It's just the story, the way it's laid out, and the flow, like it flows interestingly well, but it just felt like the film was always just a weird second and third act, with no real act one. That's kind of the best way I can kind of put it. Like there was no true like slight build up. It just went on and on and on. There is a little bit, but that's where I think the context clues would be needed, and that's something you would need from WandaVision, a little bit from I don't think you need it too much from Loki, but for sure for WandaVision, you need that. Because if you watched WandaVision and go into Multiverse of Madness, it's so good and clean. You know, it's perfect like that. But for those who didn't, it just felt like it was like a lot of craziness and like, okay, why is she evil? And who are they after? And what is this like shenanigans? Why do they want America Chavez? Yeah, and you know, and then they have to also kind of introduce the character of America Chavez, and you know, she plays a really good character. Man, I'm gonna get her name right. One day I'll remember her name. So, I'm just gonna call her Gomez for now. She did a good job in this film just playing her character. Like, I don't know too much of her character based on the comics, but playing a child who's basically kind of jumping around lost, scared for her life, I think, she did a good job. It kind of got a little cheesy with her character towards the end, but kind of have to for these Marvel films. But it just, I don't know, something about the film just did not click with me for the most part. I don't know, it just felt like a lot, and like there was no appetizer to kind of get me into it. I don't know, because when thinking about it, one, visually it's good, the performances are good, the score and the music are fantastic. Like I mentioned, there's a very, very crazy musical fight, and I'm like, yeah, there's some wonderful surprises, and I don't know, it's the plot is not too difficult to follow, but I don't know, it just didn't feel like, I don't know, for being a Doctor Strange film, I just wish they did a little bit more with Doctor Strange. That's the best way I can put it without going into spoilers. Like, he's in the film, you're doing a lot of stuff with him, it just didn't feel like his story was well laid out, or what they were trying to do with him. Yeah, I just didn't like click for me. But for this film, at least for sure, it gave me more of an impression for Wanda's character, to see what's gonna happen with them. Honestly, I want to see more of Wong, man. Him as the Sorcerer Supreme, man. I want to see more of him. Like, this film really showcased him as Sorcerer Supreme, and I want more of Wong here. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I honestly, I want to rewatch the film for sure. I want to rewatch the film and kind of get a little bit more into it, and hopefully I'll have an extended talk with a couple of other individuals in the movie podcasting game. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts, just initial thoughts without going into real spoilers. So for my base review, without watching it a second time, just kind of going through it over in my head, I want to give this film I don't know. There's a lot that happens. There's a lot. There's so many cool things, but I'm sitting between like a 7 and an 8. Like, there's a lot. It's just so. For now, I'm gonna give the film. For now, I'm gonna give it an 8. Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8 because for sure I want to rewatch it, and maybe I'll lower it or maybe even raise it. But yeah, and the reason I'll do it at 8 at the moment, maybe. Should I give it a 7 and then after the rewatch give it an 8? Oh my god. You know what? For now, this is going to be the first film for my rating. I'm going to give it a 7.5. And once I rewatch it, and have talks with my group, I'll give you my definite review score. But it's just this weird thing. It's like I said, the film's really fun, really entertaining. So much is happening. It's just this weird thing with the plot that just feels just awkward for me. But yeah, those are my thoughts for the film. Let me know what you guys thought about it. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave it in the comments. If you're watching this on Anchor, Spotify, or anywhere where podcasts can be heard, go follow me on Instagram. I usually post when I post these films reviews or television reviews, and there's a post of the picture, and you can just leave a comment on the post. So yeah, thanks again for listening. Until next time, see ya. See ya. See ya.